Now, see, what I appreciate about your media is, like I said, you could be a great author if you choose to be. Because no one can limit the mind of a man that is the embodiment of America's worst nightmare. Educated, purposeful, intriguing, dominating, can fuck somebody's mind up, as well as their spirit, and inspiring at the same time.
Thank you.
Those are the traits of what changes the game. People like Petey Green, who founded Howard Stern, that founded Shock Radio, which also gave way to Star and Buck Wild.
Wendy Williams as well.
Wendy Williams, exactly. To people who took realism and truth and made it a brand.
Right.
What is the Scum brand? How do you define it?
Well, the Scum brand is coming to you with honesty and defiance. You know, a defiance of the social norms. We're gonna defy that shit. I could talk to you about everything from vagina to virginity to the Virgin Mary to politics. We could talk about everything, but we have to talk about it with a realism. We can't talk about it as a cookie cutter situation. You say yes, I say no. You know, so the Scum brand is like a brutal honesty with a bit of fun, a little nastiness, and some flirtatious education.
Yeah, because you had the women on your page going bananas.
I like when the women.
Shout out to Tasha Langford, yo.
Tasha Langford, the Abyss, the Goddess MC.
And
Gail Campbell. You know what I'm
there's
saying?
so many women that I can't remember the names that chime in on the show.
And I respect the fact, and the women come harder than the men, because the women understand and they respect the realism, because they're coming from a place of hurt, excitement, and I can say this on this show without being judged or ridiculed. And that's what I like about the ladies who support me. They definitely come through, they show me support, and I respect them, but at the same time, I'm going to chastise them, I'm going to spank them, they're going to spank me, we're going to have a real dialogue, and I'll see you next week.
But here's the thing that bothers me about when men are real, because even, like, look, I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm blunt tongue, I don't give a damn sometimes.
Right.
And sometimes I actually do, because I realize that you can only stab the meat so many times before it stops bleeding.
Okay.
After a while, that's just butcher. That's that psychopath type stuff.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you don't have to spike the ball after you make your touchdown or point. And for me, it's like people question my manhood based on the fact that I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
But I walk with morals. Have you ever got to the point where y'all tried to either test your morality or push your limits to see how much of a scumbag you can be?
On the show all the time.
Talk about it.
See, what happens is, like I said, when I call this is the gag. Throughout my life, no one has ever called me a scumbag. They've called me other names, but never a scumbag. I call myself a scumbag, and when people don't agree, or I touch a nerve, or they get angry, oh, scumbag, but they say it as if it's an insult. But like I said, when you're talking about me, I'm talking about you. When I open up myself, I'm opening you as well. So whatever you call me, you're calling yourself. The things you don't like about me that you say is a scumbag are some of the atrocities your father, your mother, your baby father, and you have committed. You just don't like the package it's coming from in the mirror I'm showing you. That's the gag. So it doesn't bother me at all. When I talk about being a scumbag, I've done some things that's scumbaggish. And I've done it with women who are scumbaggish. So when I call myself a scumbag, I'm calling you a scumbag. It's just due to the fact that I've gotten rid of that insecurity that I can admit it, honestly. And of course, a lot of women shouldn't admit certain things honestly. Keep your valor, keep your valor, you know what I'm saying? Keep that. But don't try to look down on me because I said something that made you mad and it was also true. That's the part where the insult tries to come in. Or they try to test my morality. What would you do if your friend's girlfriend tried to sleep with you? I would tell my friend his girlfriend tried to sleep with me. What if you were married and this sexy woman came on to you? If I was married and she was sexy and I wanted to hit it, I would hit it. And I would hide it from my wife. So if you want honesty or do you want a moral answer, I'm going to give you the honest answer because I'm not the most moral person on earth. You know, if I had a wife and I was out sleeping around, being with women, I love my wife too much. I'm going to hide that from her. So I have the decency to be deceptive because I don't want to hurt her with my stories of hookers and threesomes. I don't want to hurt her like that. So I walk around with that hurt inside me because I'm a decent person.
And you know what? That's the genius behind Truth Radio.
See?
Because even Petey Green, How to Eat a Watermelon, told Howard Stern, say the word nigga. You could be a nigga today. Had him in blackface with a fro.
Gosh, you showed me the clip, right?
And that was actually genius for that time, because as offensive as it was, it brought the realism of America to the forefront.
That's right.
And radio and media have been the place where we have confronted some of the most wickedest atrocities known to man. Shout out to Emmett Till's mother, because if it wasn't for the media covering that funeral, they would have never known how bad racism was in the South.
They knew how bad it was.
But America didn't want to confront it.
Yeah, they
because
didn't see the face.
I heard a Caucasian individual say, we didn't learn about y'all history in school. We just heard that y'all were free. And y'all just chose not to do anything with y'all lives. Mm-hmm. He was taught that. In school, as a man of color, you know what I was taught? I was taught that it's not good to eat things that come from the ground, because if it don't come from the supermarket, you can get poisoned and die.
Okay.
I was almost kicked out of school because I asked the people in my Catholic school, why are the angels white and all the demons look like black men? Right. And why is the only black saint that I learned about poor, and he made a cat, rat, and a dog eat out the same dish? Well, that just sounds like poverty. That's not a miracle. That's poverty. Right. Those are the things and the questions that make people scared. That's why I said you are America's nightmare.
Well, I'll ask that question, and I'll defend it, because yeah, that's racism. They just threw the one black deity they put in there. He's a bum and a piece of shit, and he's unclean, he's unhealthy, he's unsavory. Why would you want to be like him? Everyone else is clean. He's eating out of the same dish as vile, villainous animals. So how far up the divinity chart is he?
Well, let's take it to let's put some scum on it.
Hey, man.
Let's put some scum on it, because then that goes to my question. Today in society, we still see the man of color being bastardized. Do you know what a lot of these origins of this came from?
It depends on which one you're referring to.
Well, we know about the Moors,
yes,
and how they took over Spain and
yes,
all that, right? But before that, when the gods were all black, as people would say, there was a big war in Germany. And that's when the men of Caucasus descent were coming out of the forest barefoot, fighting, what was it, the Mantuks or something? I forgot the name. It was the Khazar Empire that came and took over Germany. And during that time, when they rewrote society, they said that anything that's dark comes from the ground, and Satan is in the ground. So anything that comes from the ground is damned. And anything that comes from the stars has light. So that the fair-skinned people were descendants of the gods and the stars that came down to earth. And that's how things were whitewashed and destroyed. To today, in contemporary Christianity, there's a sect of it that says people of color were made to be slaves, made to be dumb, and made to be cursed and enslaved. Whether it comes through Mormonism, I'm against Mormonism from the door. Whether it comes against Mormonism, or even comes through the many outlets of entertainment that have come through this country and others, people of color are always put on shame and blast rather than admired for what they accomplished and achieved. To the point that where right now, a woman who was a police officer went into the wrong apartment, shot a man in his heart for eating ice cream, and then guess what? She only gets 10 years and hugs from a judge, her hair getting taken care by a stroke by a bailiff, and even a hug by the brother of the victim. Why is the black male image so hated? And put some scum on it. Tell me what you really feel.
Because he got big dicks. If the black man had a little dick, if a black man had a little dick, it wouldn't be a problem. It's the black dick. That's what it is. The black dick and the power of that black dick to make everybody else black. You know what I'm saying? A white man can't make anything. Everything comes from the color of that black dick. A white man get with a black woman, that baby kind of fair skinned. A black man get with that white woman, that baby's gonna be dark. It's the black dick. That's what they're afraid of. We have the power to make everything dark. We can make every shade of the spectrum. White can only make white or that weirdo red bullshit peckerwood freckle shit. We can make red freckles all the way to black, blue black. We can even make a white albino. The black dick is the fear. That's why the black man is put down so much. And another thing, it's not only the black dick, it's the black man's inability to fight. God never said don't fight. I think if God would come back to earth, he'll say, hey, why y'all in the fight? I gave you all these weapons. I gave you big muscles. I gave you the domineering genes. I gave you the big dick. Why aren't you guys fighting? I didn't say pray and wait for me. Kick some fucking ass. Everything you need has to be taken by intelligence, by force, and by war. And if you're not willing to fight and take something by war, if everything is passive and I forgive you, you're gonna lose every fucking time. It's the black dick is why the black man is so feared and so bastardized.
2 points. In Asian culture, they teach their women a man with a small penis is okay, because one with a big one, which is remembered about us, because we're the ancients of China and Asian culture, we tend to be more promiscuous. So the bigger the dick, the less trustworthy,
Right.
and you're not going to be committed.
Right.
First point. Second point, that's the gift of slave-induced Christianity. I feel male masculinity, when it comes to people of color, has been chastised and belittled by the slavery of religious thought. Let me tell you what I know. In history, we all know about King Charlemagne. You know about the Magna Carta.
Yes.
But the back part of that they don't talk about is how when the church had land, the priests and people were having kids. And he made it a law that priests cannot marry or have kids because the church had too much land,
right,
and the country was losing land. And that act proceeded into child molestation to the point where today people are like, well, you never said it was a sin to seek kids. And we have sexually frustrated men not able to walk in their faith. They're walking by their lust. Flip side. Just the same way PTSD has made people of color so afraid of being free that they're fighting for liberty instead of freedom. How do we quell those differences? And how do you use your media to fight that as well?
Well, as far as fighting the PTSD, that's the easy part. We have to admit it exists. We have to seek help. And we have to find out exactly where it's coming from and murder the source. If the PTSD is coming from the police, we have to get together, collectivize, and do something about that. If the PTSD is coming from childhood memories, the PTSD, you have to get to the root of it. You have to get to the root of it. Stop it at the root. Take away that part of the root, and then the man can grow out of the PTSD. The thing about the PTSD is they're making money off of it rather than helping you with it. They want you to lay on the couch and get some medicine that doesn't help PTSD if what's causing the PTSD still exists. You got to get rid of the existence of it, the cause of it, and then that person can grow out of that. Now, as far as the sexual frustration of those perverts, what they need to do, I saw a Catholic priest one day say on Facebook, I didn't know sleeping with kids was illegal. He said that. Mm-hmm. And they laughed and they didn't check him. Mm-hmm. His bullshit wasn't checked at the door. Now, if you'd have checked that shit at the door and caused the Catholic Church to have to come out of pocket, give back all of that gold that they stole, give back all of that indoctrination that they stand on, give back all of that land that they murdered and raped and killed for each victim of sexual inappropriation, they would be broke, they would be remorseful, and it would end. But while it's allowed to continue, and it's not punished financially. Now, morally, we could say, yeah, you're unmoral. And they say, yeah, but they go back to their mansions and that gold they stole, take everything financial from them. The land, the gold, the money, the doctrinations, and give it to the victims. That sexual frustration and that pervertism will cease to exist in that church, because that church would no longer exist.
And the funny thing about what we're talking about, that's actually a belief of witchcraft that actually exists in it, because that's called the fountain of youth. But y'all can look that up.
Because they believe, the blood and the blood of the child, or because they actually medically trying to do that now. They're using the blood of children to give facials and to give blood transfusions, because they believe that youthful blood is going to reverse the time, reverse the clock.
And just to go with the point that I made earlier about entertainment, that's vampirism.
Exactly.
So who's the real monsters in our society?
Monsters do exist. They're not under your bed anymore.
Yeah. They're actually teaching our children.
Exactly.
They're actually in office. And shout out to Agent Orange.
And our children
The
are
best
listening to their
president ever.
music.
Yeah, ain't that
So,
bitch?
but yeah, I think as far as Agent Orange, this is the most fun I've ever had throughout a presidency. This guy is he's just walking material. From his inappropriation with women, to his own daughter, to the rape charge of a 13-year-old that they swept under the rug, all the way to him tweeting. This is the most fun. I actually had more fun with him than Obama, because Obama was too squeaky clean and didn't do shit that I think he should have did. Trump is saying, I really ain't gonna do shit for you but help the people in business, and if you don't like it, I'm gonna tweet about you. So this is the most fun I ever had watching the president self-destruct. And he's getting cheered on, and I do believe Donald Trump will be the president again.
Me as well. I call him the best president ever.
Yeah,
I think he's one of the best top 2 presidents in history. And the reason why is not because he's doing a great job. He's basically Scumbag Chronicles in the presidency.
Yes, he is.
And if you don't get the message, then obviously you haven't watched enough Boondocks, you haven't watched Eyes on the Prize, and obviously you don't watch the stock market. Because Donald Trump is making himself richer and us poorer day by day.
Day by day.
So by the last question of this part of the interview, I asked this. If Scum was president, what would be the major rules he would run this country by?
Oh man, if I was president, it would be on and popping. Trust me. Reparations would be in full effect. Not financially. Black people pay no more taxes on anything. We don't pay taxes on land out of our paycheck when we buy things. No more taxes. Black people will live rent-free. Black people would start off with an 800 credit score. Black people would get free education, free health care. And this would go on for about 250 years. So who's ever born today to who's ever born 250 years later will reap the benefits of free education, free health care, no rent, rent-free, 800 credit score. You understand what I'm saying? And pay no taxes. If you make $100,000, you bring home $100,000. You go to the store and buy groceries and it come to 99 cents, that's 99 cents. You pay no taxes on land, you pay no taxes on purchases, you pay no taxes, period. And this would go on for 250 years. We'll give them a break off the 400. We'll just take these reparations for 250 and watch how the black population will expand and grow and explode. You got 3 black men with an 850 credit score, with an 800 credit score, we can get anything we want. And we're not paying taxes on the purchase. And we're not paying rent. Like this space you have, no rent. Rent free. These are the reparations that we should put in place. Not a big fat check. Free health care. Free education. No, if you buy a home and the home is $150,000, you're gonna pay $150,000, no tax. And once you pay for it, you own it. Outright, period. How many businesses would explode? How many people would get out of debt? How many people can go to college and become something? Trade schools as well. That would be the first thing I enact. The second thing, I would change the contract of the police force. If a police officer does something that transgresses towards a citizen, the Police Benevolent Fund across the country is held responsible. Every police officer, if it happened in Philadelphia, it's going to affect the police in California financially. So what's going to happen across the board, a police in California will say, oh, that happened in New Jersey. Let's talk to that cop and make sure my check isn't affected again. Now they'll be accountable for their own people. Change the contracts. The reason why we can't sue them is because it's in their contract. We don't sue the police. The citizens pay that. No. Your pension, the police athletic league, we're going to take money out of your check. And if that, say we sue the cops and they come to $2 million, that's going to affect the cops from New York to California. Everyone's going to pay. And I bet you police brutality will stop overnight. We're going to go through the prison system and check those cases one by one and start releasing some of them brothers from them exorbitant sentences. And then the third thing we're going to do, we're not going to war anymore. And we're not going to pay Israel any more money. We're going to cut that money off from Israel. You cut off today. And we're going to start investing that money in the motherland. South Africa, Nigeria, the Ivory Coast. We're going to start a trade embargo with them. We're going to cut off China too. We're not going to pay China. And we're going to start partnering with Africa, the continent, and as a whole. They have a lot of resources we need here. We're going to start partnering and trading with them. And I believe the economy will boom, black people will live, and the police will be held accountable. That's the first thing I'm going to interact. I'm going to get rid of Big Pharma. No more making us customers. You either heal us or you get the fuck out of here. No more GMO. No more Monsanto. That has to go. As the president, they would kill me by the third day. Because I done fucked up the church's money. And that's what I would do.
All right.